and welcome to another tip of the week. Today's tip of the week is brought to you by Asthma and Old Age. Actually, today we're going to be talking about how those two things can affect your singing. I have asthma, and so sometimes when I'm singing, whether I'm getting the right breath or not, it doesn't always make a difference because I'm not always able to take those deep breaths that I need to. So here are a few things that I've found that are helpful when you're having asthmatic problems or for those singers who are getting above the age of 50. A lot of women find that when they get up in those ages, they have to do a lot more to take a bigger breath. The number one tip is always exercise. A really good thing that I like to do is I love to run. And running helps me really to be able to have a better lung capacity. And also, not just that, but to think about taking those deep breaths on a regular basis. So when I run, it just helps me to build up my what are called intercostal muscles. So whether you do sit-ups, or whether you run, or you walk, or you jog, or swim, or whatever it is, any sort of exercise is really good to help you in this area. When you build up your intercostal muscles, this includes your abdomen, your sides, and actually your back muscles. These are all very important muscles that help you in your breathing for singing, because you're taking a breath from down here more than you are from your lungs. Although they're both getting air, the diaphragm is used to push out the air a little bit more quickly for when we're singing, and that's why we use it. It helps us to get more force when we're singing and to be able to hold out those longer breaths, which we might not be able to do if we're relying solely on our lungs. So the number one thing is to get plenty of exercise. If you are above 50 and you don't really get too much exercise, go for a walk regularly. It doesn't have to be something really intense, but it does need to be something that will help you in your breathing and help you to get used to using air more efficiently. So if you can do that, that would be really helpful. Another thing that I like to do to sort of help me to stay up with my breath is an exercise on shh sound. So one of the things that I can do is I can take a deep breath from down here, and I will let it out slowly on shh. And I'll do that as long as I can, letting out as little air as possible. The next one that I'm going to do is I'll let it out on shh, but I'll do it as hard as I can. Okay, so I'm going to take a nice deep breath. Shh. And it's really loud. The third one that I'm going to do is doing shh in pulses. So I'm going to do shh, 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 shh. Now while I'm doing these, I'm feeling my diaphragm doing a lot of pushing, which is good. This is the muscle that you really want to get used to being used while you're singing. So shh, 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 shh. And each one of these shh exercises, you want to be able to do them as long as you possibly can. So take a nice deep breath and see how long you can go. You'll notice probably that as you're doing these, that your time gets longer and longer, and that's exactly what you want. Another way to make sure that you're taking that deep breath to help you get into that, this is going to look silly, but it's one thing that's really helpful. What you do is you let out all of your breath. You bend over, make sure that you're parallel to the floor, don't let any breath in, stand up, hold it for somewhere 3 to 5 seconds, and then breathe in. And when you fill up with air, it's going to come from the right spot, as long as you are out of air. So, let out all your breath, bend over, don't let any breath in, come on up, hold it for 3 to 5 seconds, count slowly, and then breathe in, and you'll find that the air automatically goes to the right spot. So, those are just a couple of tips for those who are getting a little bit older and trying to still have plenty of room to breathe, and for those who have asthma. One other thing for people who have asthma that I like to do, of course drink a lot of water. So that's always a helpful thing. But practice breathing regularly, taking deep breaths. That actually sounds kind of, you know, like everyone would do it. But it actually takes some work sometimes to practice breathing, especially when you're having problems with your asthma. So think calmly and think of very slow, deep breaths in and out. So, I hope that was helpful.